I agree with McCurdy. I think she is a strong character. I agree with McCurdy. I think that their relationship makes sense in terms of there being attraction between them. The big thing for me that undermines the whole thing is that Bond went and banged 2 other chicks.
Yeah.
I think that's still in character because, again, earlier in the film, she says to her father, "It's like, I'm not sure if he's in love with me or not."
Yeah.
And let me go. I'm going to go on for a little bit. Hold on. So she says that. She says, I'm not sure if he loves me. Then we don't see Tracy for a good chunk of the movie. And again, I'm going to go into the intellectual and analyzing this movie bit and say that, like I said before, I think that the middle part of the movie, as much as it is him going on his mission and trying to figure out Blofeld, in a way, it's also his bachelor party, per se, because he doesn't really get one in this movie, of course.
I think you're giving him a pass.
Bond would give one.
I think you're giving him a real big pass there, dude. I think you're giving
hold on.
Big old
So
pass.
That's called headcanon. That's called headcanon.
It is headcanon. Okay,
Yeah.
regardless if it's headcanon or not. Okay, he goes in, he bangs a bunch of chicks. I think that's in character for Bond, right? He's done it in other movies. He goes and he meets the main Bond chick, and then he still fucks somebody else, and then he comes back to the other chick.
But he never married any of those chicks.
What I think is great about it is that after he's had all these shenanigans, all these women, and even the women he's having sex with aren't that great to begin with. I mean, the fucking chicken lady is kind of slightly obnoxious. Even after he has
Completely
sex,
obnoxious.
she's slightly obnoxious. Even after he has sex with her and everything, and then he goes down the mountain, and we have that great, awesome ski sequence, and he's getting chased down, and we have all this moment. He's like, I could get killed, and he's like, I don't know what I'm gonna fucking do. They're after me. They're gaining in on me, and who comes to his rescue? It's Tracy, and it's in a great, glorious shot where the first thing we see is her feet, and it comes up. It's almost like, and I'm gonna get whatever analytical or be the film snob.
Very curious thing, snobbery.
But it looks like she's very angelic in those scenes. And I also add that a lot
I like
of her
that scene.
shots.
I do like that scene.
A lot of her shots in this movie, if you notice, they have a very much a glow. Like, I think people have talked about like putting Vaseline on the fucking Vaseline on the lens type thing. But it,
the Barbara
and I know
Walters
that doesn't
interview.
necessarily add to my argument, but I just want to point out that is something that I love about this movie. And to me, when she saves him, and not only does she get him out of the bad situation, she's a fucking competent as driver. She best even the fucking Italian driver, or it was the Swiss drivers in the ring when they're driving around, and they're like, how the fuck do we get out of here? And she's still like outbest the bad guys, even the people in the cars.
Like I said,
it's
she
about a bad
proves time and
situation.
again that she's very intelligent.
I'm trying to state the middle ground here between McCurdy and Patterson, because I fully agree with Patterson in that the fact that he sleeps with 2 random women in the middle just seems very convenient for them to try and plug the point that he's still Bond. Like, look, he's still just trying to everything. It just doesn't make sense in a love story. But I'm going to agree with McCurdy in the fact that I think they make sense together. From the very beginning, she's mysterious. He's trying to figure it out. They make love. She pays off her debts. 20,000 francs in the desk. And he's like, no shit, and paid in full.
20,000 francs is a lot of money. Paid in full as well.
That's different for him. I think Bond's falling in love with her throughout the film. Different bits and pieces. I know there's a love montage in the middle. That's a bit much. That shouldn't have been there.
That montage should have been later in the film.
Yes.
Later in the film.
Yeah. It should have been after he does the whole allergy clinic thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. It should have been after they survived, right before they got married.
But then we reach the driving scene, and I think that, as McCurdy said, like, God damn it. And then he keeps kissing her, like, God damn, she's a badass right now. Yeah. He whispers, like, good girl. Like, he's falling in love with her throughout. It's not in the beginning. He's not going to be pawned off or won for $1 million. He's not doing it for that.
The timing of when he sleeps with those women screws
It's
up.
bad. It's terrible.
It undermines the
I
relationship
agree.
dramatically.
Fully.
And if your point is also in this movie that this is a good movie because Bond is being more vulnerable and being more emotional, let me tell you something about being vulnerable and emotional. If you're falling in love with somebody, you're not going to want to sleep with somebody else.
Correct.
Like if you haven't figured out your feelings for somebody else, like if you're developing these feelings, especially if they're new to you, you're not going to be like, let me immediately go and this all up. Like he would need time to evaluate it. It undermines both the vulnerable and emotional Bond angle, and it undermines their relationship. It's just
unless he's having cold feet and he's just like, I could a couple of chicks, not talk about it, and then move
Which
on.
he is. The whole time, the whole movie is Bond being his normal, sexually loose self, except when he suddenly decides to be Mr. Romantic with Tracy for no reason after getting the information he needed from Draco. And then going off and banging other chicks, but then suddenly falling for Tracy because she can drive well. And yeah, that's cool, but Bond meets badass babes all the time and he doesn't fall for them. So what is it about Tracy that makes him fall for her specifically? And that question is never truly answered or explored. For us as an audience to believe that Bond's feelings for her are legit, he should have turned down the very forward advances from the Angels of Death, but he didn't. Or at the very least, they could have planted a better seed that Bond was looking to leave the service to start a family, but they didn't.
I'll have a bachelor's taste for freedom.
Please, just see her some more. Who knows what will come of it?
I'm sorry, Draco, but in my profession I can't.